Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Formula A. This is a big one, to say the least. We're officially in the summer break, so happy summer, everybody. But we just had one of the most ridiculous races of the season in Hungary at the Hungaroring. It was awesome. And we've got Ryan and Kyle here today to break it down for you guys and get into all the absolute mayhem that happened after the race 2 off track. So, Ryan, I guess we just dive right into this. How you doing?
I'm good. I hope everyone's doing well. This is going to be a big one, like you said. Just want to take a quick shout out and wish everybody well with everything going on in Lebanon. Marcus will be sitting out for this one. Just got a lot going on, understandably. So everybody on the other side of the pond, hoping everybody's doing well.
Yeah, we're thinking about you guys out there, and we know we got some listeners out there too, so we hope you hear that, and you're with us here. You're with us. So, yeah, so let's just dive right into that race, man. Where do you want to start? There's so much.
Well, I want to start with the predictions, because holy was I ever close to nailing a perfect prediction.
It was scary good.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
I had Verstappen, Hamilton, Leclerc, Sainz, Perez, Russell, Alonso, Norris. So I had every person correct in the top 8.
Oh.
I just had a few people out of order. And I'm like a whopping 23 points ahead of both you and Marcus now.
It's mental. I don't even know
I'm kind of feeling like Max. Like I'm just out.
You're kind of feeling Max. Are you going to do a victory lap with 28 laps to go? Victory donuts?
I might do a 360. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, you're just blowing us away. I mean, what do we think? 10th to 1st for Max. How do you even stop this guy at this point?
Well, I thought this would be the weekend. I'm like, Perez out in Q2 with no reason to be, and Ferrari, this should have been a Ferrari, high downforce, dominant track. I can't count how many people I heard say, oh, this should be a Ferrari one too. And, the Red Bulls are in the back. And I was actually okay with it. I'm like, all right, we're going to spice up the championship points right before the break. And just kidding, because for 2 reasons. Max was incredible. I think that's fair to say, beyond just my fanboy status of him. His 360, his dominance, just his... You got to admit, he's a lot more calm and cool. It feels like now that he's got that first driver's championship under his belt, he doesn't drive with so much of a point to prove anymore.
Yeah.
Even in the start, the race start, he wasn't trying to take 4 or 5 cars and dive down people. Just take it easy, make smart moves.
Yeah.
Keep hacking away at it. And then Red Bull strategy was fantastic too. That helped a lot.
Yeah,
and
shouts out.
Ferrari's terrible strategy also helped.
Oh.
So that's a good little segue. We'll get right into that. Absolutely gutted for Leclerc, but
I mean, I for once would, and I'm not even a Ferrari fan per se, but I for once would like to be on this show and at some point not say, wow, what did Ferrari do wrong this week? It's shocking. I don't get how they can keep doing the same things over and over again. It's just like beating your head against a brick wall at this point. I mean, the problem is everybody watched Alpine go onto the hard tires, and they did not work. They were dropping down the order. The hard tires are terrible, and somehow Binotto and his merry gang of clowns just said, you know what, let's just throw it on. We're Ferrari, we can do it better than they can, and they can't. It was terrible. So I don't even know what to say to that. There's not really much else to say on it. They're terrible.
And the fact that Binotto does not take ownership of his strategy, his strategy department's mistakes or his mistakes or whoever's making those calls, just drives me up the wall. Just take ownership for it. Just put your hand up and go, yep, we made a dumb call. We could have provided better for the drivers. That's all I want to hear. And they're just so stuck in their ways. Hot take from Ryan. Ferrari will not win a driver's championship or a constructor's championship as long as Binotto is at the wheel.
I don't think that's a hot take at all. I fully support that. I fully support that.
That's not a hot take anymore.
I mean, hey, we saw him walk off the pit wall mid-race into the back of the garage. I thought he was going to hand in his resignation letter. Like, I thought he just had enough and said, you know what, I have no idea what I'm doing, I'm gone. But he did say that they're not making any changes during the summer break, so I guess it's going to be more of the same. And
well, I don't think the car needs to change. I don't think the drivers need to change.
Oh, I think he meant personnel-wise. There's nobody changing.
Well, I don't think even personnel needs to change. I think they just need maybe he needs to change. But that's what Ferrari used to do, right? They always just can the top guy and expected the world to change.
Yeah.
But who's Binotto's boss? Like, the guy that runs, like, who's the current CEO of Ferrari?
Oh, man. I could picture his face. I just cannot remember his name. He shows up to some of the races.
But he's got to be watching these and just look at Binotto and go, what are you, like, I would be giving him a nice phone call. Sarcasm. A not so nice phone call.
Yeah.
Saying, like,
go manage.
I heard on the WTF1 podcast, because I listened to that beforehand, Pirelli gives you suggested strategies with tires, and the hards weren't even in it. So the way they said it was putting on the hards and dropping to 6th place is like failing an open book exam.
Yeah. Like,
I thought that was hilarious when I heard it.
Yeah, it's a great way of putting it. What is this mentality? Like, we're better than everybody else and we know more than they do? Like, I don't get it. They're so out to lunch. It was such an easy race for them to make up points on Red Bull, and they blew it again and again. And I mean, if you're Christian Horner or Total Wolff, you're loving it, because if you check the standings, it's like, well, we were just, felt like a month ago we were saying, who's going to win the championship, Ferrari, Red Bull, and now it's like Mercedes are 30 points behind Ferrari now in the constructors.
They are creeping.
It's shockingly close. And,
they're right there.
Yeah, and well, they really shouldn't be. The Ferrari's still clearly a superior car, and they don't know how to use it. They can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
just pain, pure pain to watch.
That being said, I did want to point this out. Even though we know the Ferrari's still a better overall car, that Mercedes is coming along quite a bit, isn't it?
It is. But you know what? Before we leave Ferrari,
yeah,
you can see and hear the frustration in Charles Leclerc, and he's trying so hard to keep his PR. I got a question for you.
Yep.
Do you think by the end of the season, he's absolutely going to blow a gasket in the media and say something offside that will absolutely taint their relationship, and he will just fall into the same spiraling Ferrari mess that Alonso and Vettel and all these greats
Massa, yeah.
Do you think he'll be able to keep his cool? The team will hear him out, Binotto will hear him out.
They are extremely lucky that Leclerc is Leclerc and not a Verstappen. You know what I mean? In the nicest way possible. Leclerc is almost too nice of a person to say anything bad against Ferrari, when there's a million things he could say. Now, granted, he's made his own mistakes here and there too, so I won't.
Yeah, like the French GP, that was nothing Ferrari related.
Yeah, so I won't give him a free pass, but I mean, it's pretty clear the team is screwing up way more than he is, and I think at some point, I mean, you can just see his body language too. Like, it gets to you. Like, it gets to you and it beats you down. And this guy is usually a pretty happy dude and easygoing, and he does not like himself at all. Like, he just looks down in the dumps, and yeah.
But you know what? It was still an A-class drive from Leclerc, and we'll give him a shout-out for that. And it just... The fact that a hard tire was part of was that a 3-stop for him?
Yeah, because they realized how bad it was. They had to go back to softs after.
3 stops and hard tires should never be in the same sentence, ever.
No. So, yeah, all things considered, the fact he managed P6 is actually pretty remarkable. Like, yeah.
So let's leave Leclerc. We've touched up on him enough. Let's go to his teammate, Mr. Sainz.
Oh,
Mr.
sure.
PR.
What do you have to say about Carlos?
I thought it was funny to hear Carlos. He's really playing the team game, the game. Because he's saying, yep, P4 is best we could do. Hards don't see the issue with it. Go Ferrari. I believe red. And you know what? Whatever. Kudos to him. If that's what, like, taking that viewpoint and going down that route is what you think's best for your career, then hey, maybe Sainz is playing a super smart long game where he sucks up to him. Leclerc blows his casket.
Yeah.
Leaves for McLaren or who knows where. And then,
yeah. Well, that's the thing. I guess maybe he does have to be careful because as terrible as Ferrari is right now, you're not going to get a better drive if you're Carlos Sainz than Ferrari.
Well, McLaren apparently has like 19 million race seats around the world. So.
Okay, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Let's finish our Hungary review here, I guess.
But yeah, so I'm thinking Sainz is maybe playing the long game.
Maybe, yeah, I think so. Play it safe.
Yeah, and then once he's won the hearts of all the Ferrari Italians and the corporate side of the company, maybe he's looking to make himself the number one driver in years to come.
Maybe, and I mean, he does have to understand, too, being the number two, that you are a lot more interchangeable in the team's eyes than the number one guy, right? Same reason why Bottas was so careful with Mercedes all those years. Perez is pretty careful with Red Bull. It's like if they really want to, they'll pony up and get another guy to partner their top dog, right? So they definitely have to be a little careful.
Yep.
Yeah. That being said, switch to another. I don't even know if I can call him a number two. Maybe two number ones. Shouts out to the boy George, first pole position.
Yeah.
Like that was just a ridiculous lap, just out of nowhere it seemed. I was fully sold on the Hamilton pole and win. I mean, he came close to the win, not the pole, but Russell just totally surprised me. That was really, really good to see, I think, and good for his confidence, I think, too.
Now Hamilton had a DRS issue in qualifying 3, correct?
Yes, he did.
So that is very much of what could have been, because let's be honest, on the soft tire, or even throughout the race, Hamilton's pace compared to Russell's was night and day. Russell was great. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to steal his thunder by any means, but Hamilton was on another level.
Yeah.
Coming from P7 to P2. Oh, yeah. So it definitely was what could have been, and still, but yeah, we're celebrating Russell right now. Is that his first pole?
That's his first pole, yeah.
Yeah, first pole, and what a hell of a pole too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did a great job on merit. Nothing to say about it, really. Nothing to criticize.
Well, he looked really comfortable up front too. Like he held on to that lead for quite a bit.
Well, he had nothing to lose, right?
Yeah.
So why not fight for your life?
Yeah. So that was really, really good to see from him, and obviously I'm sure Toto loved it. The up and coming superstar, and yeah.
Do you think there was anything more he could have done to get higher than P3? I really think that was best. Actually, if Ferrari didn't blow it, it could have been a P5, really.
Yeah.
So this was a good outcome, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, because the Ferraris were hounding him at the start, right? He was not losing them. He was holding on to the lead, but he was not dropping the Ferraris, so they easily could have passed him.
Leclerc did catch him and overtake him.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So if Leclerc just stayed on normal tires, then I think Russell would have been in the bag as far as Ferrari's concerned.
Yeah, but again, it's Ferrari, so there you go. I mean, Mercedes, they do what they have to do, right? They do what they have to do.
So Mercedes double podium. What do you think of that?
Another double podium. I think post summer break, look out. I think they're right there. It's scary. It's scary how quickly that car has developed. I mean, considering how much we were roasting it at the start of the season, how bad it was. And to where they are now, it's a crazy, crazy fast development. And I mean, look at like Russell is finding his pace. He looks fantastic. Hamilton looks like his old self again. Yeah, they got to be careful. I think even Max knows a little bit too.
So here's my little thoughts on Mercedes. What happens next year if this development continues and they go right back to their old ways of being a powerhouse? Because it sure is looking that way, and I don't think anyone could really argue about that. Russell and Hamilton seem to have a pretty nice relationship, and Hamilton does not seem to be too concerned that he's trailing his rookie to the team in points.
Yeah.
Do you think it would go over so nicely if they were a championship fighting team? Because I'm going to say absolutely not.
No, absolutely not. No.
Absolutely spicy duo.
Yeah. No, absolutely, it would not be good. Hamilton is selfish in the nicest way possible, I guess. Not a bad thing. Like, if you want to win, you have to be selfish, obviously.
So is Verstappen.
Exactly.
The guys who do it have always been. Schumacher was selfish. Fernando had to be selfish to.
Oh yeah.
Vettel was selfish.
Even Nico Rosberg, right? He had to ignore how many team orders did he ignore to get that championship, right? So it's if you want to win, that's just what you got to do. You got to start thinking about yourself and just say screw it. And I think there'd be two guys in that situation who'd be thinking the same thing. Right?
I don't know. Russell kind of seems like Mr. PR. He's always saying what's in the best interest of Mercedes, and I'm sure he's just doing that because he's new to the team and he wants to make the absolute best with Toto and cement himself in that team. But I don't know. Do you think he would be another Bottas, or do you think he'd be more of a Rosberg?
Rosberg, definitely.
All right. I like that answer because that's what I. Because if they are absolutely clear of everybody again, and we're back to the Mercedes 30 seconds ahead. All I ask for is for the teammates to fight again.
Well, yeah, because even in the 2016 season where Hamilton and Rosberg were just so far ahead of everybody else, it was still exciting because there's nothing between those two guys every single race. And it was like some of the most legendary battles you'll ever see. It was kind of reminiscent of Senna and Prost, right?
They left everything on the track every weekend.
Yeah. So I don't want one team dominating, obviously, but if it's going to happen, I would want the two guys to go at each other, right? So,
yeah.
Push comes to shove, I think Russell would really go at him. I don't think, I mean, look at, he was in a Williams, and he wanted Bottas' seat, and he hunted him down. So, yeah, I think it would get a little spicy. But they're in a good spot right now. I think that's all they're concerned about at this point. That the car is heading in the right direction, the team's heading in the right direction, both drivers are on top of their games right now. So I think that's what's most important. I would rather have, and you'll like this one, we'll love to talk about it. I'd rather have this driver combo between Hamilton and Russell that could get spicy later, but for now it's working, over the Ocon-Alonso combo. Like, that is deadly. That's boiling over. I'm going to let you go at that one because I know Ocon's your favorite, so.
Do we want to segue right into the after drama, or do we want to just keep this on the race subject?
Let's keep on the race for now.
Okay.
But we all know it's coming soon, so let's.
Yeah. I don't know. Ocon's driving was really not in his favor, because when you defend that hard, you just slow yourself down. You slow your teammate down.
Yeah.
And it allows Danny Rick to do a wicked double overtake.
That was sick.
Amazing.
That was vintage Danny, yeah.
And at the beginning, I'm like, holy shit, maybe, because Danny had an okay Austria, an okay, he got points in France too, correct? Yes, he did.
Yep. Yeah, I think, yeah. Yes, he did.
8th or 9th?
Yeah.
So, okay result again. So I'm like, all right, maybe this McLaren Alpine battle is going to pick up again. He just passed both of them. Lando's way ahead up the road.
Yeah.
McLaren could bag some good points ahead of them. And game on. This could be a good battle. And then back to the hard tires again. And down Rick goes, tumbling down the order.
Terrible strat. Yeah.
Terrible strat. And, you could also say part driver, because Norris seemed to be the only guy on track who knew how to figure out those hard tires. So
Yeah.
kudos to him. We'll get onto that later. But it put the Alpines in a spot they didn't need to be, both Alpines, just from Ocon's behavior. And, I gave Ocon credit saying, I think it was last podcast or 2 podcasts ago, that, he's more mature than when he was when he bumped Verstappen under blue flags. And, that glimmer of immaturity showed again.
Yeah.
And maybe it helped solidify a gigantic bombshell of a decision, which we will get onto later. But yeah, I don't know. If I was Otmar, I'd be on the radio. Like, I hate to say it. I know people don't like the whole 1 driver, 1-2 scenario, but from a team standpoint, not a viewer standpoint, from a team standpoint, I would make it very clear from the start of the season, you're number 1, you're number 2. If you start surpassing him in points, then we will flip the orders. But there will always be a number 1 and a number 2 to avoid contact and confusion and issues on track.
Yeah, because I mean, like that whole the whole start sequence with the 2 cars, how some of the most aggressive defending. I think even Fernando himself said over the radio, he was like, I've never seen anybody defend like Esteban just defended me there, because he running him into the wall at the start of the race.
You always have to leave it a space.
Yeah, and of course they lose positions again. And I mean, I was just thinking, Ocon, dude, this guy is single-handedly responsible for your only win at the same track. Dude, give some space. My goodness, what are you doing?
It solidifies my my opinion on him. Yep, that's why I don't like him.
And I mean, it's not the first time. I would say, obviously, I'm starting to think there's a common denominator. You remember, the Racing Point days? How many times did him and Perez crash into each other? And I'm starting to think there's a common factor here. You know what I mean?
You're seeing it.
I'm starting to see the Ryan light here.
Yeah, you're seeing it now. Next thing you know, you're gonna buy a Dutch flag and you're gonna have Red Bull cans all over your house.
Oh, I don't know if I'd go that far.
But yeah, tough look at Alpine. Tougher look after the race, but I'm eager to get to that point. But
yeah,
I'll just keep dangling little teasers. I'm sure everyone who's listening to this has probably already heard, but we will get onto that later.
Yeah. Another inter-team battle. Can I put that in there? The last point again. The 2 Astons.
Yeah.
That was exciting again.
I would say so.
Yeah, it's back-to-back races. They're putting on a good show, those 2 guys, for the last point.
Hey, you know what? Kudos to Aston. Where did they qualify? 17th and 18th?
Yes.
Absolutely terrible.
Very good point. Very good point, yeah.
And for them to climb up to 10th and 11th, that's not bad. Not bad at all.
Yeah, and back to, as bad as that car is, and we've just spent the better part of 20 minutes here ripping a couple other teams' strategists. Aston Martin quietly have very good strategies. They get that car to go as long as it possibly can and just burn the crap out of hard tires. And somehow, it's the race goes on in the last 5 laps. You're like, oh, there's an Aston in the points. I don't know where the heck that came from, but somehow they manage. So I guess it's not all bad at that team. They've got good personnel.
Yeah, maybe some drivers are seeing that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the all heavenly power of Mike Crack is just championing that team forward. I'm 5 years old. That's still funny.
Mike Crack really knows how to lead a team.
Oh yeah, just plow his way through. Yeah, he knows how to lead a team, and Latifi knows how to lead an FP3. It's all good.
Let's talk about Latifi.
Yeah, come on, let's do it. Give him his roses.
Where did that come from? That was on merit, too.
Yeah.
Rain is the great equalizer, so maybe there's some untapped talent.
Is this just it? He just hammers back a jar of Nutella, goes out there and sets the fastest lap? Yeah. So, yeah, like Popeye, like, eats a bunch of spinach and grows huge muscles. I think Latifi just downs a thing of Nutella and then just goes out there and sets purple sectors.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he had
I
the Q1 purple first sector, too. And
so when I saw those, I was begging for rain.
Yeah.
And, like, maybe this is a spa again, where it gets dry enough, Latifi throws on a set of inters and just pops it on the front row.
Yeah. Who knows? You know what I mean? You never know. But shouts out to the GOAT. Yeah. That was impressive. There was just a lot happening in that race. It was good. It was really exciting.
It was a good race all in all.
Yeah. A lot of battles, lead changes multiple times. It's pretty much what you want from an F1 race.
It definitely shows that the new regs, like we've talked about this over and over again, but the new regs definitely work, because everyone goes on about how Hungary is such a hard track to make any overtakes on, and people were passing down the straightaways, people were passing in corner 2, people were passing on, I think there was a few overtakes on other parts of the tracks.
Yeah.
So it was good. All
yeah,
good
and like
stuff.
Super tight corners, and the cars are just following each other perfectly fine. It was nice to see.
Yeah.
So that's really good. So yeah, that was awesome. I guess we have to tackle the elephant, the multiple elephants in the room now, though.
Maybe... Are you talking about the laughing elephant in the room where literally all 3 podium drivers laughed at the fact that Ferrari went on hard tires? Oh my god.
Because it's just funny. At some point, you just have to sit back and laugh and just be, these guys are doing it again. They're still screwing up.
Again.
So yeah, that was hilarious. I'm so glad the cooldown room is back. And they fixed their audio too, so that's good.
Question for you, Kyle.
Yes.
And I know the answer before I even ask it. Did Vettel retire since we've done our last podcast?
Yes, he did. And that's why I was going to say, should we go in chronological of the mayhem that ensued after the race?
I'm adding another note above various notes. So okay. Vettel retirement. So we're going to let's try and get this timeline. I think I do have the timeline right.
Yeah, it was right before the weekend. Vettel started an Instagram account to much fanfare. And his first post was telling everybody, I'm leaving, see ya. Just
Mic drop.
Yeah.
You know what? The reasons and the heart that you can see in his video, it all makes sense to me.
Yeah, I think so.
And, let's be honest, he's not going to win another title. He's not going back to a top team. So if racing and big money and traveling the world is no longer his priority, I'm sure he has enough money in the bank to do whatever his heart desires for the rest of his life.
Yes, and I know he has an incredible car collection too, so he can enjoy them.
Yeah, so working towards the environment and bees and being a family man, kudos to Vettel. What a career. I think we could all take our hats off to that. A 4-time, one of the greats.
Yeah, third all time in wins, only behind Schumacher and Hamilton.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what? I was about to say, everybody, like journalists, media, F1, everyone's bad for always forgetting the runner-up seasons, because getting second place behind the best of the best is not an easy task.
No.
So
it's not.
How many runner-ups did Vettel get? Was it 2?
I think
2
so.
Or 3?
I think so, yeah, because there was a couple with the Ferrari years, I believe.
Yeah, so chalk that on his resume. 4 world titles.
Yeah.
At least 2 runner-ups. So what a career.
He's a legend. There's no denying it. So it's super sad to see him go.
This leaves a massive hole in the team we just spoke about.
Yes.
So Lawrence Stroll has seemed to want to buy every powerhouse on the grid.
Yeah.
As far as engineers, team bosses, whoever it may be. So, he's got a 4-time world champion. That's going to help build the team now he's retiring. Who could possibly fill his shoes? Who's got a couple titles? Very seasoned man, very experienced. He's been with a ton of teams. Like, can you think of anybody off the top of your head who could fill those boots?
Oh,
Anybody?
Maybe somebody that has an L plan in the works. Yes.
So after we just spoke about Ocon being a little beep disturber,
Nice, good save.
Alonso just goes, you know what? I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Alonso is off to Aston Martin.
Huge. I was, sorry, my Trump there. Huge. Yes.
Huge.
Yeah.
So, question to you, Kyle. Is he going there because he really believes this is going to become a powerhouse team that intermingles with the Ferraris, Red Bulls, and Mercedes? Or is he going there to just top up the retirement funds? And what's your thoughts?
I mean, given recent circumstances, I would have to lean more towards topping up the retirement funds. I know like Lawrence has spent a ridiculous amount of money on this team and brought in some really talented people, but for whatever reason, it's not working. And I think they're very far away from being any sort of competitor. And I don't think Fernando's like naive or anything. I think he realizes that too. I mean, I'm sure they'll get better, but not to the point where he's maybe fighting for regular podiums or anything like that. But I think he's looking at it as a place where he can help develop a car and be a leader for Lance and just enjoy himself, a lot less pressure. From what I've heard, it seems like the team really likes him too and seems to get a lot more respect than he might have been getting from Alpine. So I think it's just a good change of scenery for him. That's what I think.
So I think it's a bit of both. I think he is going there because Lawrence put a check in front of his face that no one in their right mind can deny.
Exactly.
And then he's also rolling the dice. He goes, you know what, if I get this massive check and they do pull off a powerhouse team in the next 2 years, he's laughing.
Yeah.
Because like realistically, how many years do you think he has? He's 41 now.
Yeah, I was surprised when he was like seeking a long-term extension too from Alpine. I was like, this guy's gonna go till he's like 50.
So they did a multi-year. How many years did it? I didn't see an actual.
I don't think they actually said. As we know though, like F1 contracts are generally, in terms of professional sports, are pretty short. I would say max 3. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's be safe. Assume minimum 2, max 3.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I would say. So that puts him
at 44 years old.
Yeah, like honestly, this is a guy I could see. He will go until nobody offers him money anymore. Like he will just keep racing. As long as there's a contract, he'll go.
So that guy really does love racing. He's not in it for the money. Like he won with Toyota in Le Mans, took a crack at Indy 500. So I think if the Formula One Alonso relationship dries up, and because you could probably count how many teams has he been on the grid currently.
I might be able to get this. He started with Minardi.
Yeah. Wait, did Minardi turn into anybody currently?
I believe Minardi is AlphaTauri. Like if you go through the lineage, I believe they bought Minardi.
So Minardi, okay, so he's driven for AlphaTauri, technically.
Technically, yeah. Renault, which obviously is now Alpine.
2.
Ferrari.
3.
McLaren.
4.
I think that's it. Because I know this is like his 3rd stint with Renault Alpine.
This will be his 5th team on the grid.
Yeah. So he's doing the whole world tour here.
So that's half the teams.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. And honestly, this guy just doesn't seem like he has any intention of stopping anytime soon, so.
No. And then Danny Rick's watching him like, yeah, you can do 5? I'll do 6.
Yeah. So kudos to him, man. He's still got it, obviously. The guy is like an ageless wonder. So he absolutely still belongs there, and I think he'll do better at Aston than Vettel did.
All right, I actually think that's kind of a hot take because I think Vettel did really well considering where Aston is. Because if Aston does make huge progress and Alonso's cracking top 10 all the time, then that's unfair to Vettel.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'll put that in the back of my mind. I'll remember that, and we can bring that up for another day. But that's a nice take. I like that.
I think Alonso's maybe aged a little better than Vettel, I believe, in terms of just performance-wise.
I would agree with that.
And yes, I am taking into account that the Alpine is much better than the Aston Martin right now, but I'm just going in terms of driver capabilities. I think Alonso's in a better place, and okay, all right, you want a hot take? Here you go. I don't think Vettel is as good at developing a car as people think he is, but because he's a 4-time champion, they just assume he is. I don't think he's actually as good as some people might think.
Well, his track record would definitely back up your theory.
I mean, that 4 championships in a row Red Bull, that was Adrian Newey's best work, honestly. I mean, can't deny that.
Nope.
And obviously you need a really good driver in the car to do it still. He's an incredible driver, and I'm just meant in terms of car development, I don't really think that was as much on him as it was Adrian Newey and Red Bull. And then he went to Ferrari and just didn't really work out. They came close, but it never really worked. Aston, just a mess. That's just my 2 cents, I think. I think Alonso might be able to extract a little more from that car and get a better understanding of it than Vettel. That's my main take.
All right.
Yeah.
I like that. Well, I'll keep that in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
So, the next team, because now there's a shockwave effect. Now there's a gaping hole at Alpine. So, who? Because it's now not official as far as I'm concerned.
Oh no, I'm starting to think it won't even happen at all.
How good is Mark Webber's lawyers? That's the question.
That's a good question. I mean, so yeah, I don't even think we mentioned the name yet, actually, but it is.
Yeah, I kind of hopped.
I just realized that it's Oscar Piastri, the Wonder Boy. Obviously, he's a generational talent, and everyone was just assuming he was. He's been in the Alpine Academy his whole career, pretty much, and just naturally he'd get the promotion. And it seemed like it was gonna happen. Yeah, they announced it, and then what happened? Only a couple hours later, a bombshell.
No, I am not driving for Alpine.
Yes, the tweet of all tweets.
It's
Alex
still not deleted as far as my sources tell me.
No, he's sticking with it. So, as far as Oscar is concerned, he has a contract with somebody else. And he hasn't said anything yet.
Oh boy. Where could that be, Kyle? Where could that be?
I don't know. It's funny because there was a team that coincidentally had the same issue in IndyCar not even a few weeks ago. And I'm starting to think it's the same team.
How many race cars could one American man have to fill?
Zach Brown is a man of many talents and many, many contracts. So it's
you get a seat, and you get a seat, and you get a seat.
Yeah, I mean, credit to them. At least they have a lot of teams and a lot of different series. But it's like, how many drivers does this guy have signed, or how many does he think he has signed? Yeah, it's just a crazy development. This guy hasn't even done a practice session yet, and he's already in legal battles over his F1 future.
So there's a lot of options here, Kyle. We got lots of options. So has Gasly officially signed papers with AlphaTauri?
That's okay. Thank you. That's a very good point, because it was literally just Franz Tost came out and said, no, he's driving with us next year. Because there was some rumors. But again, Gasly himself... That
doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, apparently in this world doesn't mean anything. So Gasly himself never really said anything.
Watch another bombshell drop and goes, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
So let's list off our options here. These are all hypothetical still because nothing's official. Gasly, as far as I'm concerned, there's no official paperwork. Tosta said he's coming. Is that what the lawyer said? Who knows? Rick, does McLaren buy him out or offer him a buyout because he's the one who has control of the contract? And does Piastri go to McLaren? Does Rick come back to Renault Alpine?
Oh,
Is Alex Palou jumping the pond? Is Logan Sargent coming to Williams? Is
oh
Ken
yeah,
Williams? It's
yeah.
craziness.
It's just
There's so much movement. I
it's
can't keep track of it all.
Thunderdome. It's crazy, dude.
One thing's for certain. Sorry to interrupt. One thing is for certain. Albon has signed a multi-year deal with Williams, extended. That's locked and loaded. Albon is going to probably continue to be their number one driver.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's in. So we got one seat covered. So we have, has Magnussen signed with Haas officially?
Yes, because when he did re-sign with them, it was a multi-year deal apparently.
Okay, so it's multi-year.
Yeah.
Schumacher signed. They're not going anywhere.
Schumacher's not signed actually. If you look at
We talked about this on our own before we started recording. Like how funny rumors, Schumacher goes to AlphaTauri or McLaren or Alpine. We both said it's really unlikely. He's Ferrari Academy through and through. You know, Mr. Ferrari, his father himself. The only place I could ever see him going is Alfa Romeo, and there's no seat there. So they're not part of this equation. So I'm going to write it down. So equations, we have Logan Sargent, but I doubt he will get an Alpine seat. Very highly doubt that.
No, if any,
possibly the Williams.
Yeah.
Do you think Latifi could be going anywhere else but Williams, or do you think this is it, unfortunately?
Unfortunately, from a Canadian standpoint, I believe this is it. I think
so
he's hit, I think he's hit the
end of the road.
Yeah.
Put next to his name. Piastri, what is going on? What's your like most accurate take you could possibly? Where is he going?
Here's what I say. I have read something that, and I'll have to fact check this to see if it's true. His contractual obligations to Alpine actually ended July 31st. This is something I've seen. So he could technically have signed somewhere else the day after it ended on August 1st.
So the lawyers down under may be cheekier than we all thought.
Mark Webber could be working some crazy magic with his lawyers and his agency. I think Piastri will be in a McLaren next season.
There you
Write
go, everybody.
it down. Write it
down.
down.
Kyle's calling it. Lando and Piastri.
Yeah.
Now, do you think? You know what I was going to say? I think that might be too inexperienced and too young of a lineup. But, I hate saying it because I love Danny Rick, but what is he doing in McLaren?
I think Lando...
To be a leader.
No, he's not a leader. Lando is top 5 drivers on the grid. That's and I think...
Unless Rick is doing some, insane Marvel work in the factory, working with the engineers, which, no offense, I just don't see.
No.
I don't realistically see. Yeah. So where do you think Rick's going? We know that Rick is the one in control of his contract.
Yeah.
So, and he's made it clear he wants to see out 2023. So what's your thoughts on this now?
I think Zach Brown, and I think if he paid him enough money, I think he would go to Indy. I think he'd say, I'll put you in the IndyCar seat, in McLaren IndyCar. Interesting.
So Pato Award, for those who don't know IndyCar well, I'm going to make a safe assumption most don't. McLaren has a team, Aero McLaren SP, and they have 2 drivers right now, Felix Rosenqvist and Pato Award. Pato Award is signed and contracted to be in an IndyCar seat for 2023. Don't know if it's a multi-year deal, but that's not the point. Alex Palou, a Chip Ganassi driver, is being sued by Chip Ganassi because he signed a McLaren deal, but he was supposed to drive for Chip again. And so where's Alex Palou going?
Yeah.
Is he staying in IndyCar? Is he sitting a year out to be a reserve driver for all of the above?
I won't get too much into that, but I think that guy will play himself out of a race seat altogether because it's such a mess and such a debacle. I don't know if he'll even be anywhere, and that would leave a vacant seat within the McLaren family because remember they've bought that Formula E team for the next season too, so that's another place to put drivers.
I think Felix Rosenqvist, the Swedish driver that's currently in their IndyCar, I think he's going to get moved to Formula E.
That's what
I don't want to call it the demotion because a lot of people get upset when you call it a demotion, but in my opinion, it's a demotion. Yeah. So we'll call it a move. You're getting moved to Formula E. I don't see Piastri going to Formula E. That would be an absolute shame.
Makes no sense.
I really hope Danny Rick is not going to. I think if Danny Rick got offered a Formula E McLaren seat, he'd just pack up and retire.
So here's the thing, and the reason why I'm back at this IndyCar thing for Daniel is, look, the guy is sure he has an Australian accent. Okay, underneath he wants to be American. Okay, he loves America. If they gave him the money and said, "Will you move out of this seat so we can sign Piastri and we'll put you in Formula E?" he would say, "Ha, you're a bunch of clowns. I'm not doing that." If they gave him like money and said, "Will you go race our Indy car in America?" I think for the right price, I think he would do it.
I think you're honest on me, Kyle, because let's be honest. We all saw it, and I'm talking everybody because he made it very apparent in this first season of Netflix Drive Survive. Danny wants a championship.
Yeah.
And it looks, and he knows it. It's not going to come in Formula One. Marcus Ericsson is potentially going to be the 2022 IndyCar champion.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to take anything from Marcus Ericsson. He's driven fantastic. But Danny Rick, in previous years, has absolutely wiped the floor with Romain Grosjean and Marcus Ericsson.
Yes.
So if they're doing well in Indy, as long as he can figure that car out and have good reliability, that should be an absolute hook, line, sinker championship.
Yeah, an instant championship contender. He's in his favorite place. He's not under the spotlight as much as he is in F1. Not as much pressure, and I'm sure Zach and McLaren would pay him very handsomely to go. So
I selfishly, so when he goes to the Toronto Indy every year, I would selfishly love to see him on our side of the pond.
Yeah, totally.
I've always wanted to make a U.S. trip and go watch a U.S. IndyCar race. It's always been a plan, and I just never make it happen. Maybe that would be my little push to really go make it happen. So obviously I'm going to go support Dalton wherever I'm at, but I'd be waving my little Australian flag.
Yeah.
The background too.
All those reasons, what do you think? Do you think that? I think that seems pretty realistic.
I would say absolutely. Very realistic.
And then that would put Piastri at McLaren with Lando in F1.
Yes, it would.
So, yeah, if you guys, maybe we should even make like a Venn diagram or a freaking pie chart or something, like, because there's so much going on, there's so many moving parts, and this involves multiple series now, obviously, because McLaren is in multiple series. But there's a lot of moving parts. But bottom line, I say Piastri McLaren.
Okay.
Now, we haven't even touched on this. If that does happen, and Alpine are screwed because they treated Fernando badly and let him walk, and the guy they thought they had locked into their seat isn't there anymore, and they've just completely screwed themselves over through bonehead moves. Who do they bring in?
I was going to say, Kyle, you've still got 2 Formula One seats to fill.
Yes. So
we got a Williams seat and an Alpine seat to fill.
Okay, so I gave my opinion where Piastri land. Who is your Esteban Ocon teammate for 2023, assuming Piastri is at McLaren?
For me, what I think?
Yeah.
Before our conversation, I was going to say Danny Rick. But now after our little conversation, it's made me think twice. I don't know. Oh my God, that's a tough one.
It's tough.
Hulkenbach?
Hulkenbach. Oh my goodness.
Maybe?
I mean, Cyril Abiteboul is not there anymore, so...
I don't think he left. I don't remember how he left, actually, if it was on a bad note, because Rick kind of left them high and dry, but it is new people.
That's what I'm saying,
It is Otmar. It is a new owner. You know what? No, I'm gonna go against your grain just for fun. I'm not disagreeing with you.
Okay.
Danny Rick goes back.
Okay. Hey, it's, you know what? At this point, anything's possible. I don't know what the hell is going on.
He's gonna pull a Ferrari kitty.
Okay. The comeback, all right.
Yeah,
okay.
He's gonna go back. So I think Rick will lock that in. I'll agree that under the assumption that Piastri goes to McLaren, that would be a lineup and a half. Piastri and Norris.
That would be a barn burner if they can figure
out
that.
I really hope they figure out a car and they're up in the top or near the top. That would be unreal.
Yeah.
And then still space open. I could see Alex Palou sign a McLaren. I don't know if Logan Sargent is he qualified enough to get a full-on seat?
So here's my thought on Sargent. If you guys are unfamiliar, he's rookie season in F2 and he's tearing it up, fighting for the championship already. He's a fantastic driver, American driver, so I'm sure Liberty would love to have that. He's very, very good. The thing is, if he wins the F2 championship, I think he gets that seat. Because he cannot stay in F2. You can't stay in F2 if you win the championship.
Yeah.
I think.
Do you think Williams is going to hold out?
I think they will wait because F2, I believe, does end before F1's championship.
And that would be a Williams power move to tap into an American market.
Yeah, that would be huge for them. I mean, that would be big for their sponsorship-wise, too, and bringing in more money. If they got American, I'm sure the company's flocking to sponsor Sargent. So that's only if he wins. If he doesn't win the championship, I say they keep him in F2.
Okay.
If he doesn't win the championship, the other guy that I would pick to go with Albon is Nick de Vries.
Oh, I completely forgot about.
Yeah, spicy one, eh?
Mercedes-powered team.
Yeah.
Toto's always looking out for him. He's managing him. Yeah, very likely.
Yeah,
Very
F2
likely.
champion, Formula E champion.
He's always been knocking on F1's door, and he seems to just not cut it. But this jumble just might be it to get him in there.
Yeah, I mean, what else does this guy have to prove to show he's good enough? He's won two major championships already. So,
worst case scenario for Williams, put me in.
There you go. It's up in the air, dude. I mean, who knows? They could bring Jacques Villeneuve back for all we know. Like, who knows?
All right, so yeah, you heard it here. So if we're on the money, if our driver predictions are close to my top 8 predictions, then we're gonna look like a bunch of beeping legends.
A bunch of geniuses. Yeah, and it'd be like Grosjean. I was thinking the first Haas race. Guys, this is a win for us. This is a win for us.
That was such a nice moment to watch.
It was.
By the way, Grosjean's having a terrible IndyCar year. Not that really matters on this podcast, but
yes.
He is XF1, so tough year for him. The Americans do not like him.
No, they don't. Yeah. But yeah, that's a whirlwind. The silly seat, like, this is Thursday. We're recording this Thursday, August 4. So it's been like 4 days since we officially started the F1 summer break, and it's just freaking mayhem already.
It almost worked out in our favor that we did it later.
Yes, it did.
Pack it all in one.
Yeah, this is all fresh news now.
The last point to make, I think that I can think of in the news titles is Honda has confirmed to support Red Bull, which makes me happy, right to 2025, and then in 2026, on paper, Porsche is going to be buying 50% of Red Bull, and I don't know if that excites me or absolutely terrifies me.
I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I hope Red Bull has a lot of IMS bearings for if it's Porsches.
No flat engines.
Yeah, here. I did. I owned a Cayman previously, so I know all the little tricks and mishaps that they can have. But all jokes aside, I think that's huge for F1. Now it's just we're not like confirming anything. We're not making any fake news. This is all just legal documents that have to be made public before they're made official in a lot of countries where it's being trademarked. It says that they are buying 50% of Red Bull. That's what it says in the documents. So it's officially unofficial, I think is what we dubbed the term.
Yeah. That's fair. That's safe.
Yeah. So it looks like it's going to happen. And I mean, that's huge for Formula One to have Porsche, right? I mean, who in the world, you don't even need to be a car person, who does not know what Porsche is, right? So it's a big deal. And I think, with those guys working with Red Bull, I think it could work pretty darn well.
And they don't seem to do very bad in the series that they've all participated in many series that Porsche's participated in.
Yeah.
So you pair them up with a powerhouse like Red Bull. Fingers crossed. Hope we get something fantastic.
Yeah, and I mean, Porsche's jumping back into Le Mans too with their hypercar program. So that's a lot of and there's so much tech goes into that, right? That could help with the development for future F1 tech too, right? It's a lot of
Kyle
options.
theory.
Yeah. Yes, the Kyle theory. Hypercar to F1 tech swap.
The Newey project.
Yes. Yeah. Wow.
Wow, what an episode.
That was big.
There you have it.
Yeah, officially our longest episode, I believe, and it was a doozy.
What did we hit? Are we at it?
We are at just over 55 minutes. Just under the hour mark. But
I was going to say, let's just talk for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
We don't want to drag it on.
We don't want to drag it out. It's the summer break. We'll figure out our schedule for you guys for the next couple weeks. Honestly, there's so much news coming out. We might pump out a couple small episodes during the summer break before we get right back into the nitty-gritty with Spa at the end of the month. But for the meantime, yes.
I wanted to say, when we get back, it's going to be Orange Flare season, baby.
Belgium.
We got back-to-back.
Belgium and Netherlands back-to-back, yeah.
I will, my flag didn't arrive, but we don't have video. But for Kyle, I will be wearing my morph suit and my orange flag and my black socks, just for you.
Oh my goodness. We might have to get a picture of that and share you guys so you guys know exactly what's going on, because it's crazy. But yeah, well, everybody, enjoy the start of the summer break. It's crazy, and have fun.
It's crazy.
Enjoy it.
So for summer break episodes, we're gonna play it by ear, like Kyle said. If some breaking news comes up, we will talk it amongst ourselves and hop on the chat, and we'll pump out a podcast. But nothing really arises, then we will see you for it's Spa or Zandvoort?
Spa first. Then
Spa first. So we'll be doing the Spa preview the week before.
Yeah.
We'll see you then.
I'm sure you guys will be hearing from us before then with all the craziness that's going on. But yeah, we'll sign off for today. Now, there's a lot to digest, so you guys take that in, go back and replay your favorite parts if you want. And we will talk to you guys soon enough. Thanks for listening, everybody. Take care.